Hi everyone, thanks for joining our live demo of Mailers+4. My name is Liz Freyer over here at Melissa in Rancho Santa Margarita, California. I'm joined today by our Master of Mailing, Peter Hanfield. So if you're getting a bunch of return mail every time you're mailing, you're definitely in the right webinar. Peter's going to walk you through Mailers+4, which is our postal automation software that prepares and pre-sorts your mail so you can get what we all want, which is higher delivery rates at a lower cost, right? So before we get started, I want to let you all know that today's session is being recorded so that you can see how Mailers+4 works over and over again. I also want to encourage you to submit your questions anytime during the presentation, and we'll try to get every question answered towards the end. So, all right, without further ado, here is Peter.
Thanks, Liz. This is Peter Hanfield with Melissa Global Intelligence. Before we get started, I just want to talk a little bit about some of the features and benefits of Mailers+4. One of the features that we have in Mailers+4 is the ability to do address checking, duplicate checking, pre-sorted, and geocoding. With address checking, it goes against the United States Postal Service database with our CAS certified engine. We also have a duplicate check built in that help eliminate waste by eliminating all your costly duplicates. And then we also have the presort option in there, which will allow you to get the lowest postal rates with our Pave Gold certified software. And then with our geocoder, it'll provide you with the location information needed to make better decisions about market segmentation, sales clustering, logistics, risk exposure, and task jurisdictions. We also offer NCOA add-on for Mailers+4 that you could also use. Let's go ahead and dive right into the product. There we go. Okay, the first thing we want to do after we open up the program is we want to open up our database. So to do that, we're just going to use a test file that we have in Mailers. We're going to File and then Open. And we're going to choose XPS Files, which is a DBF file, and choose Test DBF. Okay, this is a small list, so it should be pretty quick to run through the different steps. The first thing you want to do once you open up a file is you want to format the fields. What that's doing is that's telling the program what exactly is in each field. So the first one is company, so we can do company, and then the next one is name. Where is full name? There we go. And then we have address, delivery address. Since this file has a common header names in it, we could also just click on auto format and it'll find all the fields for it. One thing this test file doesn't have is I want to put in the result codes, which will help us tell a little bit more about the addresses and what's wrong with them. So I'll go ahead and add that into the database. And I'll also add the endorsement line and also the intelligent mail barcode. So to do that, I'm going to hit OK on this. And then we're going to go to Database and then Modify. We're going to Insert the result. And then I'll go ahead and just make it 100 characters so I know I have plenty of room. And then I'll insert another new field. And I'll call this Endorse. And I know the endorsement field's not longer than 30. And then I'm going to do the alphanumeric barcode. And I'll go ahead and put that as 100 characters. And just so it's in there, I'll go ahead and do the numeric one also. And change the length to 100 just so we have plenty of room. Go to OK on this. And yes, I want to make these changes permanent. Now you'll see in the database I have those extra fields, but they don't have any data yet in them. After we run them through the various steps and after we format them, they'll have the data put in there. So let's go ahead and format these fields. We got result code, endorse, which will be under the presort tab, IMB alpha, and IMB numeric. We'll go ahead and hit OK on this. Okay, the first thing we want to do after we format the fields is we want to run address check. In order to run address check, you can either go to List, Address Check, and then Options. You could click on address check on the left-hand side, or you could just right-click anywhere in here, go to address check and then options. Here's some of the options that are available with address check. We have skip previously coded records, which will skip any records that have previously run through address check. Usually you don't want to do this because sometimes the addresses get updated with newer +4s, so it's a good idea usually to always go ahead and run the address again. Use United States Postal Service for preferred city names. That's for cities like Lake Forest, which also goes by El Toro. The post office prefers Lake Forest, but they'll accept El Toro also. We also have combined range address field. What that does is if the address range, like the 123 Main Street, the 123 is in one field, and then Main Street's in another, this will actually combine them into one field for you. It's not used very often. And then we also have address standardization. For this, we strongly recommend that you just use it on coded records. You don't want to do never because you want everything to be uniform and up to the standards of the United States Postal Service. And you don't want to do it on always, just for the fact that if we're not sure what the data is and aren't able to validate it, we don't want to make any mistakes on when we try to standardize it. We have our casing options, auto, which takes a look at your database and sees how it's currently formatted and tries to match that when it does the standardization. Upper lower, which will uppercase and lowercase. The first letter will be uppercase, the rest of the name will be lowercase. And then we have upper, which will uppercase everything. The casing field does for the name, address, city, and state. We also have this option here to convert the company field to all caps. And also we have a option not to case the name field. I'll go ahead and leave that one unchecked. Then we have some options here for what to do with address errors. We want to clear existing +4s. Usually you want to do that, and you also want to clear existing carrier routes, because if they're not valid, then you don't want them in there because they'll get rejected or returned to you. Delete unresolved addresses. This will mark them for deletion. It doesn't actually delete them. Deleting with dbase files is a two-part solution. I'll go ahead and I'll show you how to actually delete them once we run it through. We'll go ahead and leave this checked, and then we'll go ahead and hit go. And this is asking if I want to install the latest Canadian addresser, which is another add-on that's available for Mailers+4. At this time, I do not want to. And you can see it's a small list, so it's going pretty quick. And it looks like it had 398 to code and only 252 errors. Let's go ahead and preview it, the error list report. Looks like mostly suite and range errors. You really can't do much with those. Like some of them for the unknown street, you might be able to find the correct street. Like this one right here, one plaza applied. I bet you if we go into the resolve addresses, we should be able to find it. Let's see if we can find that one. We're going to ignore the range and suite errors. That way we could only focus on those ones. So this one, we'll click on resolve. And we'll search in range. That's not the same address, I'm pretty sure. And let's try searching out a range and see if we see one. Nope, we don't see anything that actually matches this one. So for this example, we can match it. But let's see if we can match it for like this one right here. Let's search in range. No, didn't find it. Let's search out a range. So this one, it actually looks like it might actually be this street. We'll just go ahead and take a guess that it is. So we'll go ahead and click on this one and change it. And now you'll see that that one, it has a suite error, which we'll change that to. I think that should resolve it. Let's see. Looks like suite A or B are the acceptable ones for that one. I'll go A. There, now it has a +4 and it's validated. Okay, we'll go ahead and close this. Now that we're done validating the addresses, you can see right here where it marked them for deletion. To actually remove them from the database, you'd go to database and then pack. I really don't want to change this database, so I won't actually delete them from the database. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel it. And then say I want to remove all the check marks. I decide I want to keep these. I could just go to database and then recall and click on all and hit OK. And now there is no more check boxes there. The next thing we want to run it through is duplicate check after address check. So we'll go ahead and go to duplicate check. You can either click it on the left side or you can right click it and go to duplicate check and then options. There's different ways to do the duplicate check within Mailers+4. We could do address only, name and address, last name and address, or by key field such as a customer number or serial number or part number. You'll want to, if you have some field like that, you'll just want to format that as key field. For this example, we'll go ahead and just do address only. We could also do by phone number and name and phone number. If you choose the phone number, you'll just have to choose which field to use for the phone. Some options for the suite number. Ignore, which means 123 Main Street Apartment A and 123 Main Street Apartment B will show up as duplicate check as duplicates. Match to blanks means 123 Main Street and 123 Main Street Apartment A will show up as duplicate checks. And match exact means only 123 Main Street Apartment A and 123 Main Street Apartment A will show up as duplicates. For this example, so we have a few more to show you, I'll just choose ignore the suite. And if we were doing on a name matching, we would also do this. It has the same basic options. Keep record lowest or highest. This is where it is in the database. So if it's a lower number record, that would be the one it keeps. If it was in the highest, that would be where it would keep. And this option also allows you to keep the most complete. So if there's a database, if there's a record that has a lot more information in it, it'll keep that one rather than the one that, even if it's the highest or the lowest. Mark duplicate for deletion. That's the same thing as the address one, where Mark puts the checkbox on the record that has a duplicate. And then we can save these settings as their default. Let's go ahead and hit go. And it looks like there is a total of 324 duplicates with a total duplicate groups of 107. View those. And see how like all these ones right here, that's considered one duplicate group, even though it has 7 records in it. Or is it 7? Looks like it actually has a little more than that. But each one of these is separated by the group. And since I chose it to ignore suites, that's why all these came up as duplicates rather than only these two being their own duplicate group and so on. I'll go ahead and exit out of here. Okay. And then we'll hit OK again to get out of there. The next thing you want to do after duplicate check is now you're ready to presort your file now that you've removed all your duplicates and you've verified your addresses. So let's go to presort, new mailing, and we'll go ahead and do standard. We'll do letter card, profit. The Rancho Santa Margarita Post Office is not an SCF or an NDC. We'll go ahead and just use our default sample weight and thickness, and same with the height and mail piece width. And next. This is all our permit information, all the stuff that goes in on the mail.dat files and in the postage statement. And then we have our mail.dat options. For this example, we'll go ahead and keep it off for now. But all you'd have to do is just click it on and it'll already be in there. And it grabs some of the information from the other screens. So you only would have to enter in this information right here. This is also if you want to include the residual pieces in your mail.dat. Some people do, some people do not. And I'll go ahead and hit OK on this. And this is if you would want to add an SCF or NDC to your list if you're drop shipping it. We'll go ahead and not do that up for this example. And if we wanted to create pallets, we would just check this one up too. Since this is a small mailing, we're not going to do pallets. So we'll just hit go on this. And it looks like it qualified for automation and non-automation. And this is our qualification report. This is one of the reports that you take to the post office. Shows the 166 at 5-digit rate and 233 at a mixed AADC rate. And this is the non-automation qualification report, which shows all of them getting a mixed AADC rate. And I'll go ahead and close that. And now we can look at the postage report, which is the other report that you need to take to the post office. And I don't want to save any changes that I've made. Some of these other reports, this is very similar to the qualification report, but you don't need to take this one to the post office. This one, this is as a breakdown of how the mailing was. It has all your sample information and what it qualified for. If you have any questions or have any problems with your presort, a lot of times the tech support will ask for this one. And we'll go ahead and click on finish on this. And I don't need to save these as a template. And now after that, we're ready to print. So we can go to print labels. I'll go ahead, let me choose a print. I'll do these ones. 5162. Okay, and then I already have I have one in here that I used before. This is the layout. This will be exactly what the label will look like. So I would go down here, click on endorsement, and double click on it to bring it over to this screen, and change the layout. Since I already have this one, I'll go ahead and hit on save. One thing to mention on here, all these are in alphabetical order. So they're not in the order they are in the database, just alphabetically. But every field that you have in the database should be in there. And then we go next. Sequence, we'll just go ahead and look at the first 2 pages. Presort options. Okay, this is, you want to make sure both jobs are checked off. So that way everything gets printed. This is our standard automation and our non-automation. What this will do is it'll make it so you could put a marker or a pause on the printer, depending on the printer, a blank label or a header label on the tray change or on the tray or package change. Since this is standard automation, there would be you'd only need it on the tray change since there is no packages for automation letters. And this is the option for the endorsement line. I like the endorsement line on all labels. That way it's just easier. And we'll go ahead and click on next. And we'll be using the Windows driver. What this is, it's telling me that I must have sent this template up with a different list because there is no +4 found. I do not want to continue anyway. I want to go change it and fix it. So I'll go back to the template, click on edit, and I will remove it. And now I'll go ahead and save it. And go back to the summary. And let's try previewing it again. There we go. So this tells us the endorsement, which has the 5-digit. This is the person's address, their name, address, city, state, zip code +4, and the barcode. And this is the second page of it. One thing there is also we do offer is an add-on called Geocoder. What this will do is it'll just check and append the latitude and longitude, also your census information and stuff, all to the list too. It is a separate add-on that does cost additionally, but it might be helpful to you in certain circumstances. I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Liz for closing comments.
Thank you so much, Peter. We are going to move on to the question and answer section of the webinar. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in now. And don't forget, I'll be sending out a link to today's recording first thing tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that in case you missed anything. If you don't have any questions, I just wanted to say we hope you enjoyed being with us as much as we enjoyed being with you. Happy mailing to you all, and we will see you soon. And those of you who do have questions, feel free to stay and go ahead and type those in now. Thanks so much.